Yeehaw! Gran Turismo is now 20 years old. December 23rd, 1997 was when the first Gran Turismo came out. And well, now it's at least December 23rd, 2017. I'm recording this on December 23rd, but well, my internet takes about 6 hours to upload a 10-minute video, and I'm recording this at about 6 something p.m. I would be showing stuff in the background, but, well, to celebrate 20 years of Gran Turismo, they're getting hacked or something. I don't know. So, yeah, yay, 20 years old, 20 plus years old, depending on when it gets uploaded, whatever. Pretty much the main reason I'm making this video is to say that, despite all Gran Turismo's criticisms, it's made it 20 years. Think about all the franchises that people have tons of nostalgia for, like Burnout. It didn't even make it 10 years. Midnight Club, it didn't even make it 10 years. Need for Speed, they kind of have nostalgia for the old games because the new games are so not like the old ones. It's starting to be that way with Gran Turismo now as well, but well, this is the very first of the not like the old one games, so I guess give it a chance, give it a game or two. But anyway, yeah, 20 years. Just now, Gran Turismo is starting to change stuff. For about 19 of those 20 years, they stayed strong with what they've kind of always done. They say it's the best simulation game, like the real driving simulator, blah, blah, blah. It ain't bad. Definitely better than a lot of others, and I mean, it's worked for the most part. Even GT6, which a lot of people will consider to be kind of blah, I mean, it still sold 6 million copies-ish. I assume it's 6 million by now. And if you put that in perspective, again, saying that games that people have tons of nostalgia for, Midnight Club Los Angeles sold all of a little over 1 million copies total around all systems. Just a little over 1 million copies. Skate 3 sold about 3 million copies. We want that franchise back, don't we? The new Need for Speed is, I think, actually outselling GT Sport by a bit. That's kind of sad. But still, it's only around 3 million copies. GT Sports are around 3 million-ish also, but those are kind of close in terms of sales. So, yeah, even at GT's worst, they're still better than a whole heck of a heap of the best. So, take that as you may, I guess. And another thing with GT that's helped it live this long, too, is just, it's a simulator game, so the fan base in general is more mature. I mean, this is the main fan base I'm in, but for all the stuff I've looked at, being like more arcade type racing games, like I guess in somewhat basketball, but not really. The basketball is actually just kind of tied to GT because a lot of people who play GT seem to also play basketball. I guess somewhat in Grand Theft Auto as well, but that's kind of completely different. And all those, it seems like Gran Turismo just seems to have the better fans. I mean, obviously I'm slightly biased, but given that they've been around for this long, I guess they are by default the most mature, as in the average age of pretty much guarantee that. It's kind of sad too. I wouldn't doubt if GT, maybe not Sport because Sport's different, but GT's probably in the last few, since maybe GT5, probably have an older average audience in an E-rated game than Grand Theft Auto has the M-rated game, the mature rated game. I bet that's truism also. I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I'd be willing to bet that's correct. GT has an older average audience than Grand Theft Auto. And well, Grand Theft Auto, I think, also turned 20 this year, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't play any of the old ones. The first one I saw and remember, I didn't play it, but I remember seeing it and stuff, was 4. And I played 5 since it came out. But GT, I personally have been playing since, I guess, Christmas 2001, so really fully about 2002. I started playing GT3, kinda, sorta. GT4, I played a whole heck of a heap, and the one I enjoyed the most because everything was new to me back then. GT3, I think I just kinda I knew it existed, but I didn't really care as much. I think the thing that tied me into 4 was the so many cars and all that. Like 2002, 2003, they were like the Need for Speeds and stuff that had a decent amount of cars as well, unlike the old Midnight Clubs. I remember I really liked Midnight Club 2. And GT3, I mean, it had 100 and something cars, but it didn't have that much more than the arcade games. When GT4 came out, having the massive car list, that just sold me on it for the rest of forever. That may be subject to change depending on the future, but for now, I'm gonna say yeah. But yeah, so me personally, GT's stayed strong for a long time. I think the fan base in general stayed strong for a long time, and just the games in general. I guess GT Sports is the lowest rated game, and I think that's just again because it's something different. It's gotten about 7.5 or so average rating. And if you put that into perspective, also, as I said, the games that people kind of have nostalgia for, like Need for Speed, the newest one of that, got a 5.9 from IGN, and they're kind of the cliche, they rate people high. So, even though GT's kind of jumped the shark or whatever, they're still not bad. And if you think about other stuff that's about 20 years old now also, like, completely different thing, but South Park, that's 20 years old in 2017. It's kinda held to its roots, but it's changed too, and it seems like for the most part it has a good standing still, sort of like GT. And then another thing that's 20 years old, and it's kinda sad as well, is the original Vipers that were raced in GT1, like the GTS and stuff. I think that was actually more 1996, but given that the first game that really had Vipers was GT, and that came out in 97, for the general public getting to use them, it was 97, because it's not like the general public gets to drive a real Dodge Viper. So yeah, for the general public getting to drive the good Vipers, it was 97. I don't know, maybe the old early Need for Speeds might have had them, but GT would have been the first one that was simulating them. So that's something too, and well, Viper is completely gone now, so that's kinda sad. So, to pretty much sum all this up, GT is probably past its prime, and it's definitely iffier than it once was. I think personally it's going to continue for a long time to come, but only time will tell. It's definitely not as strong as it used to be, but there's not much that's 20 years old in terms of entertainment that is. About the only thing that I can think of that's been around for about 20 years or so that's maybe gotten stronger, and this is iffy in general, is the PlayStation systems itself. I guess you can say those as a whole have gotten better, but even that's kind of argumentative too, because the PS2 sold more than like anything, and the PS2's 16, about to be 17 years old now. So, yeah. The systems that the Gran Turismo games are on are still going fine. The Gran Turismo games in general are existing and holding up for the most part, and I think the fans in general are tolerating it. So it's been 20 years now. Can it make it another 20? I think in some aspects it'll still be around in 20 years. Who knows if it'll truly be a video game? It might just be like a racing team. It might be something to do with VR, however that ends up in 20 years. But I think it will still be around. And that's better than you can say for a whole heck of a heap of stuff that people still want to be around but ain't. And then there's stuff that's still around that people don't really want to be. And well, I think for the most part, people still want GT to succeed. Even with this new thing. And that's still pretty picking good. And that's most definitely worth, if it ain't their fault that the internet's out on their 20th anniversary, Yeehaw!